In this episode of the Mamas Con Ganas podcast, I'm going to talk about intention. And I was going to name this podcast The Power of Intention, but in reality, I said no. I think this has even more importance, this subject, because intention is pretty much everything. And I remember being in a theology class when I was very young, and I remember the nun who was teaching us the class said that when God hears our prayers, the only thing he really hears is our intentions behind the prayer. And it always stayed with me. Like whenever we ask God for something, or we're asking the universe for something, and we're wanting to manifest something to come into our lives, we have to ask ourselves, what's the intention behind that prayer? Why are we wanting this? Why are we asking for this? What's our intention behind it? And I was writing down when I was preparing for this podcast, and on one side, I was going to put good intentions and bad intentions. And when I wrote the word good, I wrote God instead. And it came out completely haphazardly. And so on one side of the paper, it literally says God intentions. And there's only two. It's very easy. When you're doing something, because I say that your intentions is like your gasoline or like your ganas, right? Your drive behind something. Like, why are you getting a degree in engineering? Or why did you decide to stay home with your children and become a full stay-at-home mom? Or why are you deciding not to be a full stay-at-home mom and be working on your career at the same time as you have your children? Or why are you not having children? Because you're deciding not to have children. What is the intention behind your decisions? And this thing, I really do feel it's a black and white thing. And we know it within ourselves. We either do something out of love or we do something out of fear. So when we do things out of love, it means that we can do something to give back, to contribute, to give thanks, to honor yourself or others, to uplift yourself or others, or you do something out of gratitude, or you do something out of, oh my gosh, this passion that just fills you up, that every time you do that thing, it's like you know you were put on this earth to do it. And you know that that has a really amazing intention behind it. Because every time you paint, or every time you write, or every time you do whatever it is that just lights you up, you feel like you're connected with something higher than yourself. And so you know that has such a pure, magical intention behind it. Or sometimes that godly intention could be that you're pushing yourself to become a better person. So you're setting a goal for yourself because you're trying to reach new heights. Not that you're not worthy and perfect as you are right now, but that you're trying to create something more. And I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Soul. It's this, oh my gosh, it's like my favorite movie that came out. It's a cartoon. And it's funny because my favorite movies, I have to say, are always children's movies. If you've heard my other podcasts, you'll know that my favorite movie, number one, is the original Mary Poppins. And Mary Poppins 2 is like another one of my favorites. And this movie, Soul, it's a cartoon, came out. I watched it with my children. We've watched it several times now. And Leo, he keeps asking for it in the Disney Channel. And it's such a beautiful movie because it talks about how we come down to earth with these gifts that God has given us, and that there's something for everyone that's sort of magical. That when that person does that one thing, and the thing is that it's sort of given from above, you feel like this connection with a higher being. And it's almost something that you can't explain. Anyways, watch the movie. It's beautiful. But this episode reminded me of that, because the cartoon character in it had to learn about his intentions behind what he was doing. and why he was passionate. Because sometimes the good intentions can get mixed with the bad intentions. So I'll go over those toxic intentions, because when you're doing something from a bad place and you're filling yourself with that, it still is drive, it still is ganas. It's a different type of fuel, and it can do stuff, like it can create stuff. That fuel that is toxic is very powerful as well. Those bad intentions can sometimes drive people to do things and also create success in a different way. The difference between the good intentions and the bad intentions is that at the end of the day, the bad intentions won't give you that feeling of like satisfaction or that sense of being complete or that sensation of being aligned with God. And it always leaves you that uneasy feeling or that sense of that something's missing. And some of the, let's say, toxic intentions could be, for example, a desire for power or a desire to manipulate or a desire to show off and impress. Like when you do something, for example, even something as simple as when you purchase something. Why are you purchasing that thing? Is it because when you see that thing, you're like, wow, it would be really cool to wear that, put that on, and I would just feel very like lit up and beautiful and attractive if I put it on? Or am I purchasing that particular thing because it's a thing in fashion and I want to impress my friends or I want to impress my colleagues? Or am I doing it because it just calls to me and it makes me happy? Same thing, like for example, when people make a decision to do plastic surgery. Okay. And I am somebody who is not opposed. I'm not saying I'm opposed to plastic surgery, but I do think it's one of those decisions that we really have to be honest with ourselves as to why we're doing that. Are we making that like our everything? Is it out of vanity that I'm doing it? Am I getting that boob job? I mean, because I want to show off to, I don't know, whoever, or because I can't find my self-worth and my self-esteem within me? Or am I doing it simply because maybe I had a couple kids and my boobs are saggy and I want to feel good about myself? So there's different reasons for why you could be doing something, and you might still come to that conclusion. But I think it's very important to examine the reasons why we do what we do. It's like this illusion. People have this illusion that they lack. We never lack. I mean, yes, we could lack water, we could lack food, we can lack our basic needs. But once our basic needs are met, in reality, everything that is lacking in your mind it's all a game. How abundant you feel has nothing to do with what you have in the exterior world. It's how rich you are inside that makes you abundance. If you feel, I know so many people whom people might look as poor, but those people aren't poor. They're the richest people I know. Because what they have inside, the richness, the spiritual richness that they have inside, no one can take away from them. And that's why I think spirituality is so important. No matter what religion you're from or what you practice, it's like it brings in gratitude. And when you have gratitude, there's nothing missing. You can appreciate even the stuff you don't like to do. Because if you ask yourself, what's my intention behind this? And it's not just those big questions that I'm talking about, like, why are you deciding to study, get your master's in business? Or why are you deciding to take this job? Or why are you deciding not to have children? Or why are you deciding to have children? Like, what are not just those big life-changing decisions, but also, what is my intention when I do the laundry? Because we could have those, the intention behind doing the laundry could be something like, it could have bad intentions, behind it. Or you could simply say, I'm doing this to honor the space I live in and my children. And I said to myself the other day, because I don't like doing laundry. So I was like, I was getting in that mood of like, great, I have to do laundry. And then all of a sudden it clicked and I said, okay, let me see this in a different way. Let me pour myself a cup of wine, put in a show that I never watch. I never get to have much time to watch the Netflix show, or as much as I would like to, because I have 3 kids. But let me just put a show because I can tonight, and the kids are sleeping, and now I'm washing clothes, but I can make something fun out of it, and I can put some music. And then all of a sudden, doing the laundry was like something that was kind of exciting and fun, right? I could be doing laundry in gratitude for my children, because I have children. And yes, I have a lot to fold, but maybe I could do it by thanking. Every time I fold the clothes, I can be thankful for the fact that I have them. So I want you to examine what your intentions are behind what you do, your big decisions. And then in those areas in your life where you're kind of really unhappy, perhaps examine the intentions behind those things as well. And then flip them. If you realize, because we're not perfect, right? I think we all fall into the trap of doing things sometimes for the wrong reasons, particularly fear. But when we realize, let's say, for example, because I've met people literally who have built their success. They have the degree, they have the money, they have the success, and they did everything out of spite to show somebody that hurt them. Oh, let me show them. And so their intentions behind their success was like a revenge in essence. And that was their fuel for their success. And if you realize within yourself, man, maybe I have a little bit of that. First of all, congratulations for even coming to that realization, because I think a lot of people don't even examine that to begin with. And the podcast, when I talk to you weekly, it's all about getting to know yourself better, asking yourself those questions where you dig deep and you really examine yourself and ask those really hard questions, even when you think you might not get the answers that you like from yourself. Because only when we really ask, then we really get to know ourselves. And write it down, by the way. And if you come to the realization, man, some of my intentions, I did this to show off or to impress, then switch it. Decide what you're going to do. If that was driving your success, revenge was driving your success, for example, say, you know what, now I'm going to pick another type of gasoline. A gasoline that's not going to leave me feeling empty at the end of the day. I'm going to pick maybe contribution. From now on, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be the most, whatever you do, you've been really driven and you're super successful in your work, but now say to yourself, I'm going to be even more successful than I am right now, because I want to contribute more to society, because I want to be even a better mom and a better spouse and a better person in general. Or I'm going to do this out of gratitude, out of the mere fact that that I have the luxury of being able to do it. And I think you'll discover that fuel, first of all, that fuel is going to be like, you won't even need to go to the gas station, because that's like something that will just flow through you, and it's infinite. That gasoline of gratitude, the gasoline of doing it to honor your loved ones or to honor God, the gasoline of doing it for yourself and to love yourself and to do it for your self-love, out of self-love, that gasoline is infinitely abundant in the universe. So write those things down. What are the things that you do and that you decide to do on a daily basis? And what are your intentions, good and or bad? And then if you do see something negative, flip it, turn it into a positive, like Pitbull says. Okay, now also you can do an exercise. It's a very interesting exercise, is to journal, because you'll be in your head, but you'll be able to, it's interesting what happens when you put pen to paper. You'll write things down that you didn't even know you had inside. And once you start writing, you'll start flowing. And sometimes you just have to let it go and just keep on writing. Even when you think you've done everything, keep on going and keep on writing. And you'll also get that out of your body. Those negative emotions that sometimes you trap, you'll get it out once you journal. And you'll also be doing a lot of self-healing with the journal. Journaling has immense, and it's funny because I used to journal a lot when I was younger, and then I started journaling like recently again. And I've discovered, wow, why did I ever stop doing this? But you know how it is. Sometimes we stop doing things that are good for us for some reason. But anyways, so this is the exercise. Like, okay, so now I'm going to have you do an exercise, okay? You're going to write down all the lists of things that you do, right? All the things that you do daily and the big decisions that you've made in your life. Big decisions that you made in your life and that you're following through still with, right? And then all the things that you do on a daily basis. And behind all of those things and those big decisions, I want you to write, what are my intentions behind that? And as you go through your day, like I said, you can even when you go shopping, think, what is my intention behind purchasing this? Because I think a lot of people also do like mindless shopping. And they don't really know exactly what they're trying to fill in a void. But they're not really doing it to bring themselves joy. It's because something's missing and they're not examining it. So whatever it is that you do, write it down and put, okay, these are my intentions behind these things that I do on a daily basis, or the big decisions that I've made in my life. And if you discover some things that you don't like too much, start journaling about why that is that you made that, and what. Dig deeper there and get everything out from your gut. Just like let it go. And then decide to yourself, okay, I made this decision and it doesn't have a pure intention behind it, or I keep doing this and this doesn't have a good intention behind it. What am I going to do now? And interestingly enough, is that when you look at it, you might actually decide to stop doing that thing altogether. Or if it's something that you're like, no, I actually want to do that, I just want to have a better reason for doing it, then give yourself a different type of fuel. I'm not going to do this, out of pride anymore, to show off or to manipulate anymore. I'm going to do this with pure intentions behind it. I'm going to do this out of gratitude, or I'm going to do this to honor myself and like to honor God, whatever it is that you find that fills you up, or because I love it. And I promise you, you might actually change your life. Things that you used to do, you won't do, or things that you used to do and not in a happy way, you'll switch and you'll do it from peace, and you'll do it from calm, and you'll do it out of joy. So have fun doing the exercise, and make sure to tell me like what you thought, what you found out. Go to www.mamasconganas.com/69. 69, baby. That's a naughty number. My head's in the gutter. No, go to oh my God. What's wrong with me? Oh my goodness. Anyways, mamasconganas.com/69 and have fun with the exercise and do the 69, baby. So don't forget to go to my website and tell me all about it, or write a review and tell me about the episodes that you've liked the most, the ones that have been the most helpful for you. I want your feedback, mamacita. I love you. See you next time. Mwah. Bye.
Hey, it's Valentina. Espero te gustó este episodio de nuestro podcast. If you liked it, or if any of our content has inspired you in any way, I'd be ever so grateful if you showed some amorcito by reviewing us on iTunes or wherever you listen to us. Every single review will help us reach more mamacitas so they can live their life con muchas ganas. It's because of you, our listeners, that we're able to create contenido para otras latinas. 1,000,000 de gracias por suscribirte, escuchar y compartir nuestro podcast. Si tienen preguntas, comentarios y más, pueden visitar nuestra página web mamasconganas.com or follow us on social media at Mamas Con Ganas. You can also write me directly at info@mamasconganas.com. Hasta la próxima, es Valentina recordándote, don't be a mama con drama. Let's be mamas con ganas. Besitos.